Well, it was an interesting day from a behavioral perspective today. As we know, the big event which was there yesterday was the Fed policy, which was a hawkish hold. So, this was generally perceived to be as negative for emerging market flows and negative for equities. And we saw the strong correction in the US markets yesterday across the Dow, Nasdaq, S&P 500. Of course, it was also driven by the tech-related sell-off, which has been sweeping across the world. But you will be surprised to note that subsequently the US markets recovered and the Fed's hawkish hold has been absorbed by the markets. But as far as India is concerned, we saw a very different behavior. The market began with a correction, and you had the domestic investors selling because they were apprehensive about the FIIs selling. So, this is something that I like to talk about as the prisoner's dilemma, where there are two prisoners and each is being asked to guess the other person's behavior based on which he will be either given a death sentence or otherwise. So, like that, the domestic investors today thought the FIIs were going to panic because of the hawkish hold and started selling. And surprise, surprise, do you know what the FIIs did? They waited for the prices to fall, and by the end of the day, they were coming out and buying. I'll give you the exact statistics a bit later, but that's why if you see the large cap index was flattish to up at 28 basis points, mid cap was down 35 basis points, small cap was down 56 basis points, and micro cap also down 57 basis points. So the broader market was underperforming the larger cap market. And supporting this is what I call as the advanced decline ratio, which was 1,000 stocks up, but 1,800 stocks down. So again, NIDI has obviously been booking profits, and even the DIIs today booked profits. So DIIs were net sellers today on such a day, and they sold 1,800 crores worth of stocks. And guess what? The FIIs ended up buying double what the DIIs sold today, which was 3,600 crores. A very, very unusual feature. In fact, this FII behavior, and mind you, Brent crude was today at an elevated but stable level of 89.90. Okay, not very big difference, though the war rhetoric was higher because there was an attack on a Jordanian American base and Trump threatened to attack. So the nervousness around geopolitics was very clear. But despite that, oil prices didn't move. And if you see the US interest rates, dollar index 100, US interest rates, yes, the 30-year US interest rate went to 5.23, which is very high, which is predicting. We did a detailed discussion on the Fed policy already. But the Indian rupee was stable, the Indian bond yields were reasonably stable. So nothing special occurred, and the volatility index was also stable at 12.5. So God knows why the domestic investors today, I don't want to use the word panicked and sold, but let me say profit booked today. And the FIIs walked away laughing all the way to the bank, because if you see the market's movement towards the end of the day, they waited for the prices to crash and they went and bought. And this FII behavior for the last 3-4 days, they have been buyers. So if you see, that's clearly an FII I'm feeling. I'm sure the rest of and this month to date, I was seeing the data. DIIs have bought 33,000 crores, but FIIs have sold only 6,000 crores. So clearly, there is a relative acceptance of India's market situation in terms of valuation, earnings, oil price, monsoon, everything in FIIs' hands, and they are not now heavily selling India. And there are many days on which they are turning net buyers. So very positive news from the future perspective for us, unless of course the monkey in the box is oil again goes past 100, it's a risk, and the monsoon turns to be a failure. I'll give an update on the monsoon later, but so far so good, it's okay. So if you look at a sectoral perspective, there were two sectors stood out. Otherwise, most of the sectors operated in a band of plus or minus 0.5%. Okay, so the two sectors that stood out were auto today was up 2% plus, and real estate today was down 2% plus. So these were the strong movers, if you ask me, from a sectoral perspective today. Otherwise, there was not much of sectoral rotation, or maybe there was a lot of rotation, but they didn't go anywhere. I think, correcting my numbers, auto was up 1.63%, but realty was down 2%, right? So I think it's all very good points to ponder for us in terms of the market behavior. And one more thing which I noticed, that if you look at the broader cap indices, micro cap, small cap, they are up one day, down the next day, up the next day, down the next day. So every day there's an element of, oh, today I should go and sell. And when you actually go and sell and the prices come down, next day you saying, oh, now it's at value, I buy. And then the prices go up and again you sell. If you see, I'll just give you one example. Microcap index, Monday up 42 basis points. Tuesday up 133 basis points. Wednesday down 127 basis points. Thursday up 45 basis points. Again down 57 basis points. So clearly if you see positive, negative, positive, negative. Take small cap index. Monday up 1.31. Tuesday down 0.22. Wednesday up 1.46. Thursday down 0.56. So I don't know why on an everyday basis there is so much. And if you look at the advance decline ratio, it's actually mirroring. One day heavily in favor of advances, next day opposite, right opposite. So if you go by today, tomorrow should be a positive day for the markets. Let's see whether that comes through. And I'm talking about the broader markets. And FIIs behavior, of course, continues to be now a much more sober and accepting. So I'm confident that we are now close to a bottom as far as the market is concerned, because monsoon numbers are better. Fed didn't do a rate hike, only a hawkish hold. And the US economy, some data on the US economy was slight slowdown. So which again gives strength to the fact that maybe there won't be a rate hike very soon. And oil inflation, of course, that's one unpredictable in the market which we can't plan for or prepare for. In terms of a quick summary of the results today, Bajaj Finance reported a good result, 27% year-on-year increase in profits. The other big result today was, I don't think there was any other major which stood out. Mahindra. Mahindra gave a good result today on the back of all their subsidiaries also doing well, whether it's the Mahindra Tech or the Mahindra Finance. Okay, so I covered Bajaj Finance and Mahindra Finance. I think that's about it in terms of today. So good luck and talk to you all tomorrow.